My name is Lacey Hackney, and I'm the AP Seminar teacher at Smith Station High School. AP Seminar is a course within the Advanced Placement Program, which is a national program that's overseen by an organization known as College Board. And College Board develops AP courses for advanced students so that they can challenge themselves and complete university level work with the possibility of earning college course credit before they actually graduate high school. So that's what the AP is all about. Let me talk specifically about the seminar course. So, AP Seminar focuses on developing skills in three main areas: research, collaboration, and communication. Research, we focus on learning how to access scholarly academic research. We do not use Google. Not there's anything wrong with Google. I love Google. But when students or anyone really needs to get authoritative information from an expert, Google is not the best place to go. So we work on where to go, how to look, and what to get when researching. And then another big skill is the collaboration part. Students are going to have to collaborate with others. That is a requirement within the course. And I know sometimes that can make everybody groan and you can be really frustrated with that process. But real life shows us that we all have to learn to work with others. So I think the more that we do that at a younger age, the better we will do that as adults. And then communication. Students have to communicate with others in the collaboration process, but then also it's all about learning to communicate research findings and argument in an academic writing format and formal presentation. So those are the three big skills for the course. QUEST is the acronym that AP uses to refer to the learning process that is used in the course. So we start by questioning and exploring. And this is where the student interest really comes in. Students get to pick a topic, an issue that interests them in some way, and they start to research and explore and talk about different aspects of that issue. And so then they graduate to understanding and analyzing as they research. And then as they do that, they start evaluating multiple perspectives on an issue. And they start to learn to synthesize information from different sources. And so as a team, they all come together because they have all developed, over some time, they've developed a specific research question. And they're all within the team individually researching different aspects of that. So once they've done all that, they come together as a team and they transform and then transmit their findings to everyone else in an academic formal way. So that's kind of the overview. Now here I have made a diagram that shows what AP Seminar and Standard and Honors English have in common, the ways they're alike, and then all of the ways that they are different. So in both courses, obviously there's going to be writing, text analysis. They both get an English 10 credit, and there's ACT practice because everybody has to take the ACT their junior year. The differences, one of the biggest differences is AP Seminar is more student-led. Standard and Honors English are a more traditional classroom where the teacher does a lot of traditional instruction. So if students prefer that, then Standard or Honors is probably going to be the better fit for them. In Seminar, it's not just students research based on interest. I am more of a facilitator and a guider than I necessarily give them information and then they regurgitate the information on a test or something. And so, in addition to that, another way that seminar is different is there's a lot more independent reading, because there's a lot of, you have to read whatever goes along with whatever you're researching. But then also, um, we are short on time in seminar because the course is actually designed to be a full year, and we don't have a full year. So there is going to have to be a lot of more like independent outside of class reading. I will obviously limit that as much as I can because I know everybody has a life outside of school. But that's just, it has to be part of it. And then in standard and honors English, most everything is in class as far as reading goes. Curriculum, we follow College Board's AP seminar curriculum. Standard and honors English, there is the Study Sync curriculum that Lee County uses. And seminar for assessments, we have performance tasks, which I'll explain what those are in a little bit. And then at the end in May, there's an AP exam. In standard honors English, you have a study sync midterm and then a final exam. In seminar, there's more of a basis on research. And then in standard honors English, it's all about the literature, just reading the literature and understanding the literature and analyzing literary elements. So that's the big focus. Where in seminar, the big focus is argument, understanding arguments and making arguments. Most of the reading in seminar is nonfiction, and then most of the reading in standard and honors English is fiction. So if you like fiction, standard honors English is where you're going to want to be. But if you would prefer to read more nonfiction stuff, then seminar is going to be where it's at for that. As far as the writing, well, there's writing in both, of course, but in seminar, it's college level. Like there's legit research papers, and that's challenging. So if students don't want the challenge or are not confident enough that they can excel or perform at kind of a college level, then standard honors English, where they're just writing a few short essays, that's going to be the better fit. Most of the assignments in standard and honors English are going to be individual. Obviously, there's always some group stuff, but in seminar, there's a lot of group work. And then last, formal, informal presentation. There's a lot of presentation in seminar. Most of it's going to be short and informal, just, to get students comfortable. But because the formal presentations are what, are really going to be graded, but there's a lot of presentation. And then in standard and honors English, there's few presentations. And I will say that if you have like anxiety and the idea of presenting in front of your classmates is absolutely terrifying, for the formal presentations where you are graded, that does not have to be done in front of your class. We can schedule times outside of class or where it is just me, the teacher, who sees your presentation. So that is an option. Now, let me talk about some of the benefits of seminars since it is so challenging. One of my favorite things is that it allows students to have more freedom and choice in what they read and write about. And I just think that's really what the classroom, if at all possible, classroom should include as much of that as possible, because that's what learning really is all about. So that's number one that I think is so great about the course. Two, all the English language arts skills are taught in a more practical and professional context, in my opinion. The way in which you would need them for college and the way in which you would use them in a profession. So that's also what I think is really great about the course. The teamwork component, though, again, it comes with challenges. It develops students' abilities to collaborate with others and evaluate varying perspectives on an issue. Now, here's a couple of things that are going to be like the students are really going to like. You get your English 10 credit, but you also have the opportunity to earn an elective credit for college. So if you meet the qualifying score for AP, which I'll talk about that, then you can already at 15, 16 years old have a college credit. And that is pretty awesome. Because this is a college level course and is so challenging, students get a 10-point weight on their final average when it's calculated in their GPA. Now, let me explain something about that. That does not mean that, uh, the final average in Power School says an 85, so you actually made a 95. No, you made an 85, but when that grade is put with your other grades to calculate your GPA, it's a 95. Now, I say that because that's very confusing to people. Um, and I also say it because I want parents to give your students a little grace on their average in this course. If you're used to them always making a high A in English, it would be, in my opinion, as their teacher and as a parent myself, unfair to expect that same exact grade or higher. So be gracious, give them a little grace with their grade average in here, because you got to keep in mind you're going to get that 10-point weight to calculate the GPA. Also, research has shown that students who take AP Seminar perform significantly better in their future courses, higher level or not, and they also perform better in first year college courses, and they also stay in college more than students who did not take seminar. And then last, this is probably the student's favorite. Students who earn an AP qualifying score of 3 or higher will receive a $100 Visa gift card for their work. So that's pretty cool too. And then this is how their AP seminar score is calculated. It is not based off on a singular exam. It is based off of work, these performance tasks that I mentioned that are done throughout the course. Um, and then 45% of their score comes from the end of course exam. And I will talk in more detail about each of these performance tasks in class with students. You can also find detailed descriptions of them in the course explanation guide that I have a link to at the end of this. But that's how their AP score is determined. Now, AP has some very detailed and strict policies um, because it's a college level course. So I need you to be aware of those. And I just copied and pasted a few things here from their policy on acceptable guidance to students. AP expects students' performance tasks to be their own work. So they have a lot of do's and don'ts for those that are providing assistance to students. And there's a much longer list than this, but these are kind of the ones I just wanted to highlight. On the left, it has what you can do, and on the right is what you cannot do in relation to the can do. So I'm just going to, some of the things you cannot do. You cannot provide or generate research questions for students. They have to come up with those on their own. You also cannot proofread or copy edit work for students. They will receive instruction from me. There will also be guidelines and opportunities for peer-to-peer review and feedback, and you can tell them what areas you see issues in if they ask you to look at their work, parents, but you cannot tell them where everything is and or fix it for them. So that's a biggie. You cannot write, revise, amend, or correct anything that is part of or contributes to the final work submitted for assessment. Again, it has to be their work. Lastly, you cannot conduct research or provide specific sources, articles, or evidence for students. If you know where there's something that they could go find that would be really beneficial to their research, you can send them to that location. You just can't provide them with the specific source itself. So again, there's more do's and don'ts than that, but those are the big ones that I thought might be a little a little surprising to people. Here is part of their plagiarism policy. I'm not going to read through all that. You can pause the video and read through it, or you can you really need to read through the complete one that's on the course, an exam description guide that's linked at the end. But that's the main part of it. Here is also their policy on the use of AI. AP College Board, they are not opposed to AI because there are good benefits and good uses for it. It is a very good tool, but obviously it can be used to do the work for students, and we don't want that. So there are checkpoints to help prevent students from taking this cop out, and also all students' work is submitted in what's called Turnitin, which checks for the use of AI and plagiarism. So make sure you review that policy and are aware of it. And then if you have any other questions, you can contact me. There's the link to the course and exam description that gives you all the detail you could possibly need about the course and all of its policies. And once you're fully aware of everything, please make sure that you sign the syllabus form. And I hope that this gives you a better understanding of what AP Seminar is and whether or not it is a right fit for your student.